And Lena, we just heard from police acknowledging there is a lot of interest in this shooting investigation that they're looking into at this time. As you say, still a lot of questions. We don't know if Drake was home. We also don't know the motive. Officers saying they're treating this like any other investigation right now. Also acknowledging they do have video of this incident. They know there's a vehicle involved for the suspect or suspects who fired at the security guard. What we learned, the security guard standing outside of the home, Drake's home, just outside of the gates. This individual injured as a result of the shooting rushed to hospital. He is still in hospital with what are described as serious injuries, and police, of course, will be speaking with that investigator. But there's a lot they're still not saying. What we did hear, they say that members of Drake's team cooperating with the team who are looking here into exactly what unfolded. And again, they'll be going over that surveillance video. Obviously, we have some questions for police on what they were able to describe, why they aren't able to describe the vehicle, for example, involved in this. They just aren't sharing that right now because they're going over the quality of that video and seeing what else they can share. But a pretty significant update in the sense where, Lena, you mentioned this. We now know it was a security guard standing outside of Drake's home who was shot at. This was at about 2 o'clock in the morning. And for anybody just joining us now, this is the Bridle Path area. This is Park Lane Circle. This is the street Drake lives on. Just behind me here, that's his home. There's still a lot of officers behind me here and a really significant police presence, not only just out on the street, but also in the courtyard area where there is a lot of yellow police tape inside and officers. The officer we just heard from unable to speak to what they're doing on the property. But again, we know members of Drake's team working with police on this and that it was a security guard who was injured seriously as a result of this shooting. For motive, still questions on that. They're not speculating. They obviously knew we had questions about this back and forth, this beef that's been going on with another very well-known rap artist, Kendrick Lamar, asked if there's any influence here, anything to suggest there's a connection. They say they don't know and they're not saying anything on that just yet. So we'll have to wait and see if there is anything further to add to this. But pretty concerning for anybody who lives around here. And still, we don't know if Drake was home when this happened. So we'll see if maybe more information becomes available on that front, Lena.
Absolutely. And it is really important to note, Courtney, that investigators say they have video of the incident. They're not releasing that to the public at this time. And they're also not saying much about the suspects they're looking for. But they do have video.
Yeah, there was the question, you say you have video of this incident. They're really not saying much. In fact, there was even a question, so was this a drive-by? It certainly sounds like it. You've got a suspect vehicle involved in this, one person or a couple of individuals, and the fact that the person was outside. They're just not getting into the specifics of that. And they also say they're still going over some of that video, I'd imagine, to ensure they get the best quality video, maybe identify more on the vehicle involved. We don't have any description on that, Lena. We don't have a color, make, even a direction for that matter. We just know this all happened at 2 in the morning. It would have been quiet in this neighborhood at that time. And what we're showing with you now on your screen, this is the video we captured from Chopper 24 when investigators were in the courtyard area, the front property of Drake's home. And now what we know, of course, this shooting happened just outside of the gates. You can actually kind of see that from where I am. It is a little difficult to make that out, Lena. And I say that because we are only able to get so close and they've blocked off the street. And there's a lot of press here, of course, too. This is a big story. A lot of people curious about and want to know what happened.
Yeah, and I'm sure the people in that neighborhood want to know what happened, Courtney. Any reaction from people that live there?
Not really. I mean, this isn't your typical neighborhood. We're talking about mansions. This is an affluent neighborhood. Even the homes, to get access to a front door, for example, you're walking up like a winding driveway, or there are gates in place. So it's not as simple as going door knocking to get some reaction. I talked to a couple of people who work in this area. Obviously, they're surprised, but they didn't really know anything about what happened. I talked to someone who